Hey, so it's your boy Lemon King J Blade, and today we're gonna be jumping off a bridge. Okay, but seriously, we're gonna be ranking all the cards in PVZ Heroes. Very basic. We're not gonna be doing superpowers. We'll probably do that in a separate videos. There are 511 cards, so there are a lot of things to go through. And just adding superpowers is gonna be way too much. It's already way too much. But anyways, I'm here with my boy Dragonmasterljp. Say hello.
Hello.
You sound very monotone. Are you not excited?
I am very excited to go through 511 cards.
I don't like that this Raid Shadow Legends of a scandally clad woman is on my page at all times, and it keeps coming back. Oh, there we go. It just disappeared for some reason. Right as I said that. Okay. Well, okay. Anyways, the way this is gonna work is we're gonna go back and forth, and so I'm gonna start off with, like, say Taco, and I'm gonna say my opinion on it, and then Liam is gonna reply to my opinion, and then we're gonna rank it, and then the next card, which is Abracadabra, is Liam's gonna put his opinion, and then I reply to it, and then we rank it, and then we just keep doing that. Like we said, we're not doing superpowers, and we're also not ranking heroes, but I don't even think they're on this list, so we should be fine. And yeah, so I'm gonna start with Taco. I have a couple notes here for the first few. So second best Taco. It's a bit expensive. It's a 3 cost, and for what it does, it's a good activator in heal decks. Although if you're playing this on turn 3 and they already have like 1 or 2 guys on the field, you're kind of losing out on tempo because they could just keep stacking up on zombies, and then you're just gonna be behind. It does draw your card, so you're not losing a card when you play it. And I find that you could use it in decks other than heal decks. In my opinion, I would put it at a high C, maybe low B. What do you think about that?
I agree with you for the most part. Pretty expensive, and well, it can be used in some other decks besides heal. Like, it's mainly good for late game heal decks, just because in the late game you're trying to cycle through your cards to get like your combo, right?
Yeah.
Venus, Flytrap Planet, and your Artichoke, so it can fetch cards, but it's not a great card to have, especially in your starting hand.
Yeah, I don't like, it's not a card that you want to start out with. It's pretty outclassed by Catch-It Mechanic and very outclassed by Little Buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, do you want to put this B or C?
I think B tier, just because it can be good in certain situations with the heal deck, and it doesn't leave you behind on the cards. So even if it's not super useful, you at least get another card that could be more useful.
I'm gonna put a F tier, just for like the super bad cards. No E tier because there's no E grade in school. So yeah, for some reason they don't, but yeah, because logic. I'm gonna put it as black. And okay. I need a. Actually, I can't. You can't see the F with that. Okay. Oh no, I messed it up. Technical difficulties. I got this. Everything's okay. Okay. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, I told you guys everything's... Oh, no. See, everything's fine. I told you guys I'm a professional. 10 out of 10. Okay. So, Liam, you start out with Abracadabra.
Yeah, Abracadabra, it's pretty good. I mean, it's not, I mean, I think it high, low A tier because it's, I mean, it's not too expensive and, like, it's not super good to get in the late game, but early game when there's, like, starting to play all the small minions, it's pretty good. And, I mean, the only problem is that, like, I'm pretty very weak to Berry Blast and Solar Flare Super and just all those 2 damage things, but pretty solid card other than that.
Well, I put something in my notes very different. I actually put it as a D tier. Because it only has 2 health for 3 costs, so it's very easy to counter with plants. If there's no plants on the field, it doesn't do anything really. And it's too hard to, it's too high maintenance to set up with things like Laser Base Alpha or Moon Base Z. And you can't even use it with Ice Moon because Huge Giganticus isn't crazy. Although occasionally it is pretty good, in most cases, it doesn't really seem to help. I'm willing to bump it up to a C tier, but I don't know about A.
Yeah, I mean,
Especially compared to, like...
It's really only good in the early game, and then, like, probably it's not very good mid-game, but late game it's pretty piece of trash garbage, but early game it can be pretty useful, and I mean, even if they do have, like, a banana bomb or something, that can still, like, if they spend on that, you can still play something that maybe would have gotten banana bomb, but now you have the stronger thing on the field.
Okay, you just wanted me in the middle at B tier.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, guys, we are not professional PVZ hero players. We're just, average players. I've been playing for quite a long time, and I've got quite a few cards, but I'm still free to play, and I haven't really got to use all the cards, like, to their fullest potential. So, and especially I play a lot more plants than zombies, so take this tier list with a bit of salt. And we'll probably not finish it today, because 511 cards. Yikes. Like, it takes Fry Him Up, which, if you want to have a more accurate tier list, go to him. He's not done with all the tier lists. He's doing it one class by one class. So, he releases, like, one every week. So, but if you want to see a more accurate one, go to him. And it takes, like, an hour and a half just to go through, like, 50-something in one class. So, yeah. Anyways, we're not doing Acid Rain. Admiral Navy Beam. So, it's my turn. It's a big part in Cycle Cap. And it usually is used as a secondary win condition. Like, bean decks aren't that good, but when, like, you use beans combined with, like Cycle Cap is a bean deck plus a Mushroom Swarm deck with Astro Shroom. It's the secondary win condition, along with, like, Pine Clone, Sonic Bloom, and Astro Shroom. So, it's pretty easy to counter, but it is amphibious and it is a 1 cost. So there's that. I would say it's a... If it were in Cycle Cap, I wouldn't put it in A tier, but since it is, I'm gonna put it in like a low A tier. So what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with A tier. It's pretty, like, gonna, even though it's pretty cheap, you have to wait out a little bit because it's Cycle Cap, just so that you can play it and something else. So people who use it, make sure you don't play it in the early game because it'll just get bungee plumbered or whatever else the zombies have, lightning bolted, before you get any real damage out of it. So
I mean, unless they commit, although you can commit to play it earlier on if they use all their brains.
yeah, but it's still risky play. So
Yeah.
I just wait until you have maybe your like just maybe a few cheap beans, and then hopefully like it's best to wait until if you're playing Cycle Cap, so you get the environment, which lets you draw a card every time you deal damage, just so that you can get more use out of it, because it's most likely gonna die. If not the turn you play it, then the next turn.
Yeah. Okay. Seriously, why do these Raid Shadow Legends keep popping up? Like, there's Raid Shadow Legends ads are literally on both sides of my screen. It's not funny. Okay, it's your turn with aerobics instructor.
So, aerobics instructor, it's pretty weak for most decks. I mean, with dance, it's only good in dancing decks, which aren't the best. Like, sports decks are obviously quite a bit better. Pirate decks, pretty good.
Pirate decks are a lot better than sports and dance decks.
Dancing decks are, like,
they're viable, I guess.
It's not, for aerobic instructor, it's not super good. I mean, lightning boltable or whatever plant thing they have.
Berry Blast. There's Berry Blast. Chomzilla's. Hot Potato.
It'd be a lot better if it gave +1/+1 instead of +2 attack, because, like, with the sports card, right, 2 cost 1/4, which, in my opinion, that's a bit better than a 2 cost 2/3, and it says all sports cards get +1/+1, so it's increasing their health and their attack. It is increasing the attack slower, but it'll just mean that your minions stay alive for longer, which makes it a lot better than aerobic instructor.
Do you think dance decks would replace sports deck if that would happen? Because aerobics instructor is a brain less. Yes, I cannot speak right now. Is a brain less, and it does the same thing as Team Mascot pretty much. And there's about as much synergy, if not more. I don't have the exact numbers up, but and it also has a total of 5 stats, 2 and 3, which is the same as Team Mascot, 1 and 4. So, do you think that could be too strong?
Team Mascot doesn't die to Berry Blast, whereas aerobic instructor does.
Yeah, but it also is on turn 3, where a lot of more stuff could do for damage.
But I mean, dancing cards also, there's a lot of good sports cards. Take the 1-2 after this, Frenzy, a lot more Frenzy in sports. Lots of good sports decks that's going viral. Dancing decks, they don't really have any super good things like
activators? They don't have...
You're cutting out.
They don't have any good activators?
Well, they have some, but not quite as much. Just overall cards and, like, good cards as the sports category.
Yeah. And also, another thing is, it's on turn 2. So, by turn 2, you're not really gonna have many zombies on the field that could really it could really buff, and usually stuff will get removed. A lot of the time dance cards will be removed by turn 1, or at least by the end of turn 2. Although I will say, if you can get this thing to survive a turn, they have to answer this as soon as possible. It could be, you cannot ignore this card, and so you could manipulate that. And it's not necessary in dance decks, but I would say it's pretty good in them. And yeah, pretty much that's all I have to say.
Think low B, high C.
I put mine in my notes as a C.
Yeah.
C.
Especially since it's limited to only giving dancing zombies. If it was all the zombies, it'd be a very powerful card. Well, not super powerful, because obviously very blast, but
and what it
more powerful.
It also kind of goes against what was it called? The one that goes like all cards 2 attack or less get bullseye. What was that card? Let me look at it. Crazy. Here we go. Yeah, it goes against Disconaut. So, it removes the bullseye from things, but I would say in most cases, getting to attack more is better than the bullseye. So, but still.
They also kind of cancel each other out. So if you have both of them out at the same time, and if Robot Constructor just survives one turn, then your guys will just lose bullseye, because the one that gives it bullseye is only 2 or less, and you just gave them all +2 attack, so it's not very good to have both out at the same time.
That's literally what it just said, but okay.
You were kind of cutting out, so I couldn't understand all of what you said.
Yeah, by the way, we're doing this on Zoom because I can't really record with Xbox app for some reason. So, yeah.
High quality.
10 out of 10 professionals. Professional synergy. Anyways.
Okay.
Alien Ooze. For 3 cost, and -2 isn't good. Like, it's like -2 might as well just run like Extinction Event. Are they in the same category? Let's see. Extinction. That's in Beast. I think they're in the same category. Yeah, they're in the same category. So, it's really outclassed by Extinction Event when it's not on high threat environment, because it's just a -2, which is the same thing, but costs more, and it doesn't even have the ability to remove or debuff stuff of the same plant. However, when it's on the heights or on an environment, it's OP. Like, it destroys Lily of the Valley decks, destroys environment-dependent decks. It's a strong removal card. In most cases, I think it's better to run Extinction Event, but this is a good backup control card if you want to run both Extinction Event and Alien Ooze. So, yeah.
And one thing you didn't say, though, was, so you said this was good against environment-dependent decks on the plant side. But it's also very good if you're playing an environment deck.
Oh, yeah, true.
You can place an environment down, and then if they play a plant in it, you can just, since they played it in an environment, you can still get the -6, -6.
Well, they're usually not going to play their plants in your environments. Usually you're going to have to place the environment on their plant and then do it.
Yes, but if they're like playing a swarm deck with covering most of the lanes, or if they're just playing like a deck where they have, like, for example, what's it called? Cob Cannon.
Yeah.
With the team up, which has to be played on height for the, well,
Colonel?
for the,
That's for Colonel Pole?
yeah, for Colonel.
But you don't really run Chronopult in most ramp decks.
Yeah. I mean, it's still...
Although, you do run Solar Winds with Cob Cannon in ramp, so yeah.
Pretty good against heal decks, just because heal decks are pretty much always using Venus Flytrap Planet, and you can just instantly kill their artichoke.
Yeah.
With this.
Although, but usually they're gonna do Artichoke and the heal on one turn. They usually do Venus Flytrap before, and then heal Artichoke next turn.
I mean, like you said, it's not a great card. It's decent, but it's not very good. Like, there's a lot better cards to be running.
Should we say low B tier or high C? Would you? I would say it's. I don't. Yeah. It's a weird card to me because it's so. It's either overpowered or really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can't do the -6, like there's the plant trick, right? The plant superpower. One cost for -2, -2. Whereas this.
Don't forget water balloons, because if on turn 6 you can use water balloons, so it's -2, -2. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, so overpowered. Yeah. Yeah. I would say it's worse than Taco, but it's better than Abracadabra, but I'm fine with it and see.
Yeah, okay. Moving right along to All-Star Zombie. This one, pretty good, especially in when you're using it with
Sports
the team mascot, because you have, it starts off as a 4/6, pretty much 4/7 because of armor.
It's better than a 4/7.
Which is, I mean, before it could be a bit better than 4 attack, but frenzy, so it's pretty good. And then, especially since there's not that many big removal cards for, what's it called? On turn 5, like, you can't do,
Well, there's Doom Shroom, Shamrocket, Squash, Lawnmower, Ice Spore, Toadstool, well, that's turn 6, I guess. Cob Cannon, which is usually in ramp deck, so you could play it earlier on turn 5. I disagree with you on that. There's a lot of removal cards that could take it out. And those removal cards are usually pretty popular.
Yeah.
Although, I will say...
It's still a pretty good card, just because frenzy, decent health, and it fits really well with the sports deck, especially if you can put zombie coach like next turn when they try to block it with something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is weak to the, what's it called? Destroy zombies or more.
Shamrocket?
They conjure through.
Shamrocket?
Yeah.
Yeah. I also forgot, like, freeze decks, like Destroy All-Star and Bounce can also counter it. But if they don't have those, which in most cases they have at least one of those if they're, like, a good player, if they don't have that for some reason, then it could just take over the game, especially when you buff it.
Yeah, because...
Like, although it's just, like, just in general, dry, high-cost zombies aren't as good as, like, stuff that you could play reactively. So...
Yeah, but it's still a pretty decent card to me.
Yeah, I still put it as a B tier.
They try to block it with their 4/4 or something, it'll do 3 damage, and they'll also block it with another 4/4 or more.
Yeah, I still put it in B tier as in my notes, because it's really good in sports decks, especially with, like, Team Coach.
Yeah.
So B tier we go. I would say, would you say All-Star is better than Taco?
Yes. Yeah, I mean...
I wouldn't say much better, but I would say it's a little
not
better.
much better, but it is better just because, I mean...
It's definitely better than Abracadabra.
Taco is very situational and, like, only for heal decks mainly.
I mean, you
like,
could...
This, mainly for sports decks, but it still can be useful in decks outside of sports decks.
Outside of heal decks, Taco's really just like a filler in other decks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't really synergize with anything well.
This is gonna be a bit controversial, but I don't think Allosaurus is that good. Like in heal decks, it only heals for one, and generally with Artichoke, you want to heal with bigger numbers to attack them with.
If you're healing with one with Artichoke, then it just is really just pinging their
Yeah, it's really just pinging the block meter. And really, one health does not really make much of a difference in most cases. Like, especially with most trades. It can make a difference, but yeah, I mean, and 4-7 is decent stats for a 5 cost. It's kind of sad though because it can't take out a 5/5 without dying. Yeah, I mean, plus Dynamo helps it a little bit because you can draw a bunch of cards with it, but generally you're not drawing cards on turn 5 anyways, or later even because you need to play Allosaurus on turn 5. So I don't think it's very good. It's good in some situations, but I would put it as a C.
I agree. I mean, the stats is pretty good, 4/7, but dice to 4 or more, that's a lot. The only, like, I mean, in heal decks, yeah, it's single box meters. The only good part about this release is when you're playing it with Pepper MD.
Yeah.
It heals lots of things, so your
but
Pepper MD...
even on the highest level of the game...
It usually just dies to the zombie shamrocket, whatever it's called.
Yeah, but even on the highest level of the game, Pepper MD isn't that good, because hard removal like rocket science and fruitcake are everywhere. And those also count as Allosaurus, by the way. So, C2?
Yeah, C2.
Yeah, I wish this was a better card, but it's just not, it does not really fit into any deck.
Yeah.
I think it's your turn.
Let me search it up. Vampire, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's Ancient Vampire.
Yeah, Ancient Vampire. It is really good with, what's it called, Frenzy deck. And also, this is pretty, it's not super expensive for cost. And the big thing about this is Amphibious. Frenzy and Amphibious is really rare. I think only this and Octa Zombie. I think those are the only Frenzy Amphibious zombie cards.
I think you're right about that, yeah.
And then also, it can't be shamrocketed. It can be hammered, but once it kills a minion, it'll grow. And then, especially against team-up decks, this is good because it just keeps growing. And then if you pair this with Vampire, the Vampire says when it kills a plant, it gets +2/+2, and it has Frenzy. And with Ancient Vampire, that means that whenever your Vampire kills a zombie, it'll get +4/+4, and then do another bonus attack because of Frenzy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good card. The fact that it's countered by... Well, for starters, it's hard countered by Rose. I just like to say, it's hard countered by Rose, but other than that, it isn't the easiest to answer. Unless... I mean, you can answer it after it grows, but usually by then it already got its, 5 damage on you. So, I would say that's worth it. Plus, it could help other things grow. You do not want to use this with Smashing Bug, though. That's just way too slow. Because I'll get into this later, but Smashing Guard, the only reason why you would use Smashing Guard over Supernova Guard is to use its ability, which is to give other guards Frenzy. And not only is it unrealistic that the Smashing Guard will get hard removed by the end of turn even 5 or even the plant's turn of turn 6. It also can be stopped by things like Wing Nuts, Freeze, and like Bounce, which are really popular. And it really, and you need to buff up and it also has to kill a plant so that the vampire can grow it. So really, you do not use Smashing Guard with it. Just use Supernova Guard, and Supernova Guard isn't even too strong. It's good, but it's not like crazy good. So yeah, it seems like it would work well with Smashing Guard because of their similar abilities, but it really does not work.
Funny thing with Ancient Empire and Supernova Guard is that if they have like a few copies of the same plant and Supernova Guard kills one of them, I'm pretty sure it'll get +2/+2 when it kills all the duplicates of that plant on the field too.
I'm not sure about that because when it uses ability to kill a bunch of plants, it doesn't do extra bonus attacks. It only does it for that one plant. So I'm not completely sure about that. I haven't really tested it out.
It might. That's what I said. It might. I'm not saying, oh yeah, that's why it's super good. If it does do that, that's pretty good. But I don't play zombies that much. I don't think I can have a Supernova Guard. I have one Ancient Empire, but yeah, I haven't really seen it anywhere really. I'd rate this low A tier, high B tier.
I would put it B.
Yeah.
I would not, there are a lot of, I'm thinking about some of the cars that would be A tier, and I don't think Ancient Vampire would really compare. So, yeah. Here we go. I put some descriptions next to the tiers. So, S is, auto-include in pretty much any deck, and F is piece of trash garbage. You know. It's my turn, yeah. Okay, so a potato flew around. So, first of all, a 6/6 is decent stats for 6 cost. The fact that it's untrickable makes it really hard to remove. However, and it works well with coffee grounds. It's one of the few cards that actually does work with it. My problem with it though is that by turn 6, you don't really want to use it with plant food, because by the time you get to turn 7, which is when you would do the combo, you could have done a much faster repeat moss, plant food, buff up combo, stuff like that, and just one way earlier. And really putting up this would be really good on the zombie side, because you could put frenzy on it with stuff like the, hold on, what is it called, with possessed and stuff with Era 22. But since it only really works with coffee grounds as activator, and I guess Espresso Fiesta and plant food, plant food's a bit expensive, like I said, for it. Espresso Fiesta is really expensive for it, although it can kind of work with it since it's also expensive, so you could just kill them in one turn. OTK Apatosaurus, I want to see that. And Coffee Grounds in general is not a good card. So I would say it does draw Root, but Roots aren't great. They're okay, I guess. I would put it in B tier.
Well, another thing I'd like to mention is the incredible root synergy.
Oh yes, Storage Lord, let's go.
Yes. Completely useful root. Does not, like, they're always helpful, and especially, like, I mean...
Have you seen a 1-2 potato mine?
Yes.
I know, right? It's crazy.
Okay, so, I mean, it is kind of good that it gives you a card, but I think it'd be a lot better if instead of when played Conjure Root, it would draw a card, and then you'd get the Dino Roar +1/+1. That'd be kind of interesting.
I don't think it'd really make much of a difference. In fact, I think it's actually better that it draws you a root card, because then you could actually use it with root synergy with Storage Lord. Like, we make jokes about that it has root synergy, but it actually does exist. And drawing a card at turn 6 isn't, especially only one card, isn't really gonna help you that much. So, where do you want to put this? B tier or A tier?
Say B.
Yeah.
Just because there's no, like, really big synergy.
There's no, yeah, I wouldn't say there's any really good decks. You have a bunch of fun decks that you could do with it, but overall, it's fine. You are doing applesauce, so wow, you have a fun one.
Yes. Applesauce, like, so most people, right, if they're just starting to play Tuesday, they'll look at this and they'll think, wow, this is a pretty bad card, but it's actually pretty useful. Because newer players, most of them, think that since it costs 2, it's an early game card, but this is actually really good to save for the late game, turn 6, obviously, for the strike through, and because it has strike through, like, it's not, I mean, there's not that many 2-cost strike through plants.
Yeah.
And it also 2 costs for 3 damage to strike through. Like, there's the Cosmic Sunflower, which is a 2/1 that conjures a flower with strike through. But usually you get, like, a regular sunflower or a flower that, like, makes sun and has no attack. And
Yeah.
it's easy. So this is pretty good, especially if you can, like, buff it up, right? Like, +2/+2, something. Then it'd just be a 5/4, just hitting their face for strike through. You're pretty much always gonna hit damage with this. Like, the turn you play it, like, there's not, most likely, they're not gonna have, like, Bungee Plumber or something else on turn 6. So, like, usually by then you have, like, they saved up their rocket, floating fruitcake,
Yeah.
whatever. So, they're either gonna have to, like, overkill it and use up one of their good removal cards, or you'll hit for, like, a decent amount of damage.
Yeah, I disagree with you of you saying it's mainly a late game card. I would say it's mostly an early game card, because it's one of the few cards that could kill 3 attack zombies on turn 2. It's 3/2 is quite good stats for a plant. For 2 costs, so that it's good for aggro and tempo. Well, tempo and aggro decks is really good. And I guess it does. I guess it can work with tempo decks, because strike through buffing it up could work. And yeah, and it's one of the few cards like.
You ramp sun and then you can get strike through earlier.
The problem with almost any early game card is that it's not good in late game, but this is good in late game. So just being able to surpass that challenge is amazing, along with its other good abilities. So, and it's a good budget card. So, this is definitely either S or A tier. No, we're lower. We're not doing it any lower.
I'd say A, just because it's not a finisher, and it's not like.
Well, it
a super good card.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a finisher to be an S tier card. Like,
Yeah.
this is a very versatile card.
I know, but I mean, it's a really good card, but I wouldn't say it's quite an S tier.
Yeah, S2 should be like pretty like few.
Yeah, it's
Like reserved for the best cards in the game. This could almost be considered one of the best cards in the game, but I wouldn't say that yet. Area 22, interesting. So it's a 3-cost environment, so it's kind of overshadowed by most 1-cost, like Black Hole and even Trapper Territory. And Graveyard, there's quite a few 1-cost zombie environments that usually overshadow it. But I think it's still good just for the fact that there aren't really any like super good cheap environments. Like there's coffee grounds, there's hot lava, there's Spikeweed Sector, which is really good. Bog of Enlightenment, which is good, but I wouldn't say great. And then outside of that, it's just expensive. So you really only have to watch out for Spikeweed and really Bog of Enlightenment. That could cover this. And Bog isn't exactly popular, so kind of just Spikeweed Sector. So just the lack of good environments on the plant side is just makes it a lot better. Synergizes with I cannot talk right now. It synergizes with a lot of cards. I hope I don't lose my voice by the end of this. It synergizes with a lot of cards, and yeah, it's overall a solid environment. I don't really have too much to say about it. It's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah. If the plants had like a card like this, like instead of Frenzy, it was like Double Strike +2/+2 Double Strike environment. That could be quite good on the plant side. Like that would be Area 22 is what Coffee Grounds is trying to be. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, this is also, I mean, it's obviously good in Frenzy decks, and then it's also just good with lots of decks that are just aggro decks, obviously, always trying to hit face.
Works well with like Shieldbreaker Viking. Can even work with like Trickster, I guess. And even Cowboy Imp. There's like a weird, there's a weird game mechanic with that, but it does work.
Yeah.
I
think it could be very fun with like Cheese Cutter and Quasar, because usually those can just get easily removed, but if you play it in this, then like Cheese Cutter would be a 1-cost 4/4 with Frenzy in this environment. They'd have to, and if they can't deal with it, then you're just gonna get a card from Cheese Cutter. And for Quasar, it'd be a 2-cost 3/7 with
Okay.
Frenzy.
So I think so for the descriptions that I put for these tiers, I think it fits B tier pretty good in some decks. In some good decks.
Yeah, but it's not a great.
Yeah, it's not as versatile as like Black Hole or Trapper Territory.
Yeah, if this was on the plant side and like you said, it was Double Strike, that Frenzy, like better version of Coffee Ground, it'd be a lot better, like you said.
Yeah. B tier.
B.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're on Arm Wrestler. You keep getting fun ones. I at least got Astro Shroom next.
Okay, so Arm Wrestler is actually a really good aggro card just because, and Sports Energy too, because you can play this on turn 1, and if they play something in front of it, it gets buffed up, and if they don't, you're hitting face for 2. So
Yeah.
it's pretty good aggro card. Late game, it's not, obviously not super good. It's decent late game.
It can work, but overall not great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like applesauce where it like can be good, as good in late game as it is in early game. So still a pretty solid card, you know. Sports Energy honestly, like, if he gives a frenzy, and we have to constantly be putting stuff in front of this, then it'll just keep growing. Eventually, they're going to get Shamrocket or some other removal, but you'll still most likely get quite a bit of damage in before they can remove it.
Yeah, okay. So I have a kind of a weird view on Arm Wrestler. So I agree with pretty much everything you just said. Although you didn't mention, it's countered by a lot of tricks. Like, it's hard to counter with plants. There's only, like, Bonk Choy, Apple Saucer on turn 2, really. And then there's, like, Devour and Hot Potato on turn 1. That's not really a lot. And I guess Weed Whack. But there's a lot of superpowers and tricks that could take it out very quickly. Like I said, Hot Potato, Devour, Weed Whack, even Gotify if you really want to.
But I mean...
Sunburn.
That means that they're using their superpowers, their really good card, on your 1-cost card.
Yeah, but there's also, like, stuff like Spikeweed Sector, Banana Bomb, and Berry Blast, which are extremely popular. And it's absolutely demolished by Mushroom, which is specifically made to counter early game cards like this.
Yeah, but I mean, there's not much you can really do about those, so.
Yeah. Also, sports decks aren't exactly a top tier.
Yeah, they're pretty good, but they're not.
They're good for budget. They're good for budget players and okay for like higher tier players, but I want to say they're great at the highest level of the game. I don't want to just stuff the B tier, but I don't know where else to put this.
Yeah, I'd say B tier.
Okay, finally something that I wouldn't put in B tier. Astro Shroom. Wait, hold on. Literally, there's the same amount of cards in B as A and C combined, and there's no other cards in any other tiers. This is, wow, okay. Astro Shroom. Now, so this is not exactly an early game card, even though it's a 1-cost, because if you play it early on, they could just easily, like, Rolling Stone it or Bunty Plumber and a lot of other stuff. And you don't really get value out of it. Even if they don't remove it on turn 1, like, putting 2 plants down, like, between, like, on turn 2, you're not really getting much value out of it. And you're also losing a card from your hand putting this down on turn 1. It's just not worth putting it early on. You usually want to put this, like, during a mid-game, like, turn 4, turn 5, where you could combine those stuff like Planet of the Grapes, and then just, like, absolutely destroy your face, even Mushroom Grotto. Yeah. And then just keep playing stuff until they cry. And, yeah, it's part of one of the best decks in the game, Cycle Cat. But it also works with other decks like Hyper Swarm. I wouldn't say it fits in every deck. But it fits in a lot of decks, and it's in a lot of high tier decks. So yeah, I would put it in A tier. But what do you have to say about this?
Yeah, I'd say like it's pretty good card, especially with the bullseye, because with the Admiral Navy Beam, it is doing 2 damage, which is 1 more. But it's pinging their block meter, whereas it's like bullseye, so it's always gonna hit, though for 1 less damage, obviously. But it can be any clan, which is pretty good. So
yeah.
That means it can be put in almost any deck where you have lots of small minions. This fits right in.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Did we decide to put Ancient Vampire in A or B?
Huh?
Did we put Ancient Vampire in A or B?
I put it in B.
Oh, for some reason I put it in A. Because I honestly, I like it less than, from what it hears, I like it less than you do, and I thought it should be B, so I don't know why I put it in B. Okay, yeah, I almost have to go to a second row with B tier, okay. Your turn with Astrakado, yeah.
Okay, Astrakado is pretty broken actually, just because of like 5 cost, right?
Yeah.
Not best cost, but 5 damage strike through. The 3 health is kind of annoying because it gets lightning bolted, but 5 damage strike through. That means that unless you have a full block meter, and unless they have the trick to get rid of it, it's always going to hit their face for 5 damage. A quarter of their health is pretty good amount. And then also, when it dies, you get the Avocado Pit, which you can just play, and as long as you protect that for 1 turn, it'll turn into another Astrakado, 5/3 strike through. And then if that hits, then it's another 5 damage. And if they lightning bolted the first one, they're not going to be able to lightning bolt the second one.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, killing this thing with tricks is not, like, it seems like it wouldn't be that hard to counter, but since it's a plant, it's a lot harder to counter than, I would say, a zombie with the same stats. If it...
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's lightning stuff, there's exploding fruitcake, rocket science, cut down to size, those are like the main hard counters. And then there's there's also Zombot's Breath, Backward Bounce, and Zombot Stop, which aren't as popular. And there's also a bunch of weird ones, like you could technically like carry away bonus attack into it, but that's a waste of a superpower.
Yeah, I think that honestly the best like counter to it is just to like pretty much just bounce it, try to bounce it with Pogo or something, and then just hit them get them really low, so they have to like play defensively.
Yeah,
so
like this thing gets wrecked by the Pogo mix-up Gravedigger combo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. Oh yeah. Now that I think about it, Apatosaurus also is very weak to Pogo, which is quite popular.
Yeah. So I think I put this in A tier.
Yeah. We could, well, should we put it in S tier? Because just how, like, if you buff it up, this thing's absolutely devastating. And, like, you could also combine with things like, plant food.
Yeah, plant food, the bonus attacks, yeah.
And, yeah.
I'd say high A, low S, but yeah, good enough.
Yeah, S, okay. It's just so, it's like, you never really have a problem putting Astrakado in really any solar deck unless you have too many expensive cards. Or just don't have, like, room for it. It's just a really good card to check. It's like, I guess it kind of does apply with the S description, although included in pretty much any deck.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It'd be pretty broken if it had a good synergy. Avocado obviously isn't really a synergy, but if it was like
no, I think it's a fruit. I think it's a fruit plant synergy. I don't think.
Let me see.
No. Done. Yeah, it's a fruit plant synergy. I mean, there isn't any fruit plant synergies though, so I mean, I guess you can get it from exploding fruitcake. Exploding fruitcake. Yeah. Yes. Okay.
So like exploding fruitcake, and we'll probably get to this later, but it's a really good to deal 7 damage, but it's also pretty risky because obviously this and Dragon Fruit, which is also a very good card. So if you get and Starfruit, so there's obviously quite a few bad fruits, but if they conjure a good fruit from your fruitcake, then it's just
yeah,
most likely wasn't worth it.
Yeah, you can. There's a lot higher chance that you get a good thing out of fruitcake than a good thing out of haunted pumpkin. Like there are some situations where like the thing from haunted pumpkin, haunted pumpkin, yes, haunted pumpkin can really screw you over. Like I cannot tell you how many times the guy got like Gizzard Lizard and just absolutely destroyed my board with the aggro deck. or like the guy got ghost and just -1 one of my guys and I lost the game because of that. But overall, like, you get a lot better stuff from picking. I don't know why are we going on a tangent about this? We're not even on those 2 cards yet.
I don't know. Okay, your turn.
Should we rank Astrakado Seed? Because it's a
No.
token card. No?
Just, it's a token, so I just...
Okay. Astrovera. So this is a bit weird. So the obvious deck that you're gonna use this in is Heal decks, and it is amazing in it. I don't think anyone should be surprised about that. It's really good in Heal decks. 5/5 for 8 cost though is really bad stats, and especially into one guy. And also, like, 8/8, you're usually trying to win by that turn. Like, unless you're stalling for, like, Cornucopia, which isn't too great, or Walnut Bowling, which is pretty good, then you don't really need Astrovera, unless, obviously, you're doing heal decks. I mean, although you can run this without problem, though, in any, like, ramp deck, or, like, decks where you're using a lot of high-cost plants. Which aren't really many outside of ramp.
I mean, I'd say that it's in non-heal decks. It's okay. I'd say if we're ranking this just by non-heal decks, I'd put in C or B. But just because, like, Artichoke, obviously, Artichoke in this is just pretty overpowered. You gain 10 health,
heal decks
they
are
lose 10 health.
Heal Walnut is one of the best decks in the game, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, don't forget Anti-Valtrickster Hybrid. Yeah, I made a Anti-Valtrickster Hybrid deck that uses Astrovera. I'll probably do a video on that sometime soon. It's quite weird. Yeah, so that's what we're referring to. Yeah.
Okay.
So I would put
this in B or A. What about you?
I think we should put it in B because B is pretty good in some decks.
Yeah.
Like, it's really good in one deck and okay in other decks. So let's just, Congratulations, B! You made it to the second row. There's more cards in B than every other tier combined. So, yes. Very, very exciting. Exploding... Okay, you're on, Exploding Pomegranate.
Yes. Exploding Pomegranate. So, I would just like to say that this is definitely not a good card to be running in the highest level game. It is a fun card, though. Like, RNG decks, this is pretty fun. But highest level of the game, you're spending 5 sun for a 4/2.
It's a 5/2. This isn't updated all the way.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so 5/2, but it can just get Bungee Flumbered, Lightning Bolt. There's so many things that can just kill it for 1 or 2. And it says, make 2 seedlings, like, where it died, to the left and right of it, right?
Yeah.
But if you have a minion there, you're not going to get a seedling.
Yeah, out to the right of it, not really to the left of it.
Yeah. So, it's just...
Well, I mean, I guess the seedling will chump block it.
Yeah. I mean, I thought of the game, it's not super good.
I think the main purpose of this is you're supposed to, like, control it with, like, say, Smashing Guard, which isn't that good. So, control a 5 health thing, and then explodes and make 2 seedlings on the side, and then they transform into stuff.
But, I mean, there's just better 5-cost cards.
Yeah. I would say C, okay, in a couple niche decks, or do you want to put it in D, or almost never? Oh, I said almost never useful.
Yeah, I'd say C or D, but I mean, I'd say let's just do C.
I wouldn't say it's that bad. I wouldn't say it's that bad. I wouldn't say it's that great.
And also, it's like, if you're just wanting to play, like, with your friends, just do a fun, like, luck, all, like, someone's running Doctor Space Time, you're running, like, Cornucopia.
Yeah.
When you're playing RNG decks, this is something good to include, just make it more fun.
Okay, so I'm on a piano. So, a 4-cost destroy a random plan. This is really good against against decks that really that they commit a lot of stuff into one guy. But like if they have multiple guys on the field, especially against an aggro deck, this is not good. Like sometimes you get really lucky and you just like they just cry, but overall, like the RNG does not work with it. It's good in Control Boogaloo because you're removing all their plants constantly, so they don't have any plants from the turn before, so they'll only have one guy on the field, so that could just clear it out, guaranteed. But in most decks, you're gonna have multiple guys on the field. And decks where you put a lot of stuff into one guy generally aren't good because of cards like Piano, where you just instantly destroy it.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, the one bad thing about Piano, though, is, well, you said it earlier, but random. Like, you should never have to be relying, like, with your cards, you should never have to rely on random, on chance.
Especially when it comes to destroying a plant.
Yeah, because, like, if they have, like, a 1-1 and a super good plant, and you play the Piano, the chances of you hitting the 1-1, it
50/50.
seems like it's 99% chance.
Yeah.
Not a very good card.
It's only
however,
good. It's only really good
one.
in Control Boogaloo. You want to put it in D. Almost never useful.
Yeah, however, I would just like to say that it gets extra points for me because the name is B flat, which is obviously a pun. B flat, and then the description is wait until you see sharp. So I would just like to say for that pun, it gets a higher ranking.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, there you go.
What did you put it in?
I put it above S tier and made a new tier called Haha Funny Pun. Yes.
Nice.
Nice. Firebop. Wait. I know it's your turn. So. Okay, I'll be serious. I'll put it in D. Fine. So you're next. You're with Backup Dancer.
Okay, so backup dancer. I would just like to say that surprisingly, this is probably, I mean, not probably, this is the best of the 1-cost, 1/1, no ability cards, just probably for the whole zombie side, like Cardboard Box Zombie, garbage.
Yeah.
There's another one I think that I'm forgetting, garbage, but this one, I mean, it's decent because dancing, obviously, like, can be buffed with Aerobic Instructor and a few other cards, and also Mustache isn't such a big synergy, but it's still a somewhat decent
I don't know,
synergy
that's a pretty handsome mustache.
Huh?
That's a pretty handsome mustache. I don't know about you.
I'd put this in D tier just because it's slightly better than all the others.
I want to put it in F tier, but I kind of agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay,
just because it's better than the others.
Backyard Bounce. This is, interesting. Voice back. This is interesting. It's kind of weird because I'm not sure whether to say that this is better than Spring Bean or worse than Spring Bean. Because with Spring Bean, you don't have to wait to play it. Like you could just immediately immediately play it. You don't have to like worry about Brainana, drag through that stuff. You can immediately counter it, which can make a difference quite a few times. But again, like, with backyard bounce, you're able to react to their reaction. So if they, like, bounce your stuff, well, you're like, oh, this guy bounced this, so I have an open lane. I should probably bounce this so that it doesn't hit my face, you know? So it's weird. I think it's a good card, but, because it's like, it's good for stuff like Super Brains, where they don't have really much removal, especially for small removal. But, like, in other heroes where you do have small removal, and, like, stuff like Exploding Fruitcake and Rocket Science, it's not really ideal. You only really see this with Super Brains and Huge Giganticus.
Yeah, it's not a great card, especially since it's really outclassed by Pogo.
Yes.
Just because, like this, you react to them, and also with this backyard bounce, you have to leave brains open, which obviously banana and Dinosaur, like you said, even Forget Me Nuts, like it'll make your trick cost some more. Whereas with Pogo, you just play it, and then it'll get revealed, and then you bounce it. No problem.
Do you think having this half-naked lady in the Raid Shadows Legends ad on my sideboards, on the sides, would allow me to put it as not for kids? Because, like, I don't want to put my videos for kids. Like, you can't have comments on them. Like, I don't think you could show it to adults, because, like, when you click on, do you want people 18 or over to be restricted to see this? It immediately is like, it's like, oh, you can't choose because you clicked for kids, so you don't get to decide this. So I'm just assuming that it doesn't allow people 18 or over to see it. So I don't know. I really don't know, because this lady's gonna be here for like an hour straight, actually more like 2 hours straight. So I don't know if it's gonna excuse me to put it as as for not for kids. So I don't know. Kappa's dumb. I mean, at least I'm probably not gonna be. At least I'm not a big target because of
not for
low
kids,
subscribers.
but then I don't do I never do an age restriction or whatever.
I just don't want to risk getting sued. I just want to make fun content, okay? I don't want to pay like millions of dollars.
Okay. So
where are we putting this? Like,
bounce feet here, I'd say.
Yeah, okay, and a couple niche decks.
Yeah.
Oh, Bad Moon Rising.
Oh, I get a very fun one.
Wait.
Bad Moon.
Oh yeah. Wait, are you still there? Liam?
Yeah.
Okay, that was awkward. Go ahead.
What happened?
I just got. I thought it was my turn for some reason, so I started talking, and then you stopped talking, and it was really awkward.
Okay. So, Bad Moon Rising. It's very, very fun card. Probably one of the most fun, if not the most fun, zombie card.
Yeah.
And just because, it's extremely funny turning your, so go to Brain Vendor and all the, Gentleman Zombie, right?
Yeah.
Those really weak stats that give you brains back, so you can just, ramp up to this, and then you turn your Brain Vendor, your Gentleman Zombie, your Swabbies that cost 0, into zombies that cost 6 or more, I think it is.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, I'm surprised there haven't been any Zomblob Batman Rising decks, because they're both ramp cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do agree with you. It, like, if you're not able to play this on turn, if they play Banana on turn 7, you're like you're just really sad. But you can always just play it next turn, because on turn 7, you play Banana, they only have one guy left on one sun left to remove a bunch of cards. So if you're playing it right and you have a bunch of Swabbies and Brain Vendors, not really Gentleman Zombies, they're not that good in it, but like Berry Treasures, then you should be able to swarm and stall to next turn. So I think it's a very good card. Although I do hate it with every inch of my body, because I'm mostly a plant player, and I hate dealing with this. So, I wouldn't say it's good in most decks, but I would say it's an A tier.
Yeah, I'd say it's A tier as, like, competitively, and then, like, fun-wise, it's probably, like, S tier or above.
Yeah. I mean, occasionally you get a really sad one, but overall, like, just, like, if it's almost always gonna be better than your, like, your Brain Vendors, your Bear Treasures, and your Swabbies.
Yeah.
Like, you're not really downgrading at all. You just, like, you just want to get as much of an upgrade as possible. Bamboozle. Oh, time to put in haha funny pun tier. But Bamboozle, by turn 6, you don't really want to be drawing cards, especially with evolution, because you want to have, by turn 6, you want to have a lot of strong cards, a lot of strong cards on the field with most decks, unless you're doing like a weird control deck. I just burped. Okay. But yeah, 5/6 isn't good stats for a 6 cost. 6, like, drawing 2 cards for evolution, not exactly helpful. Like, why not just use Flourish and then, like, on the turn before, and then play something bigger on turn 6, you know?
Yeah, especially since it's not, like, it's also using it costs 6 cents, but if you're, like, using plant evolution on, like, a 2 or 3 cost, then it's pretty much an 8 cost 5/6 to draw 2 cards.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could use it on, like, a 1/1 to stop it from pinging the block meter, but that's not really...
Yeah.
No, you don't...
And usually on turn 5 or turn 6, you're not going to be playing a 1/1.
Most viable 1/1s are, like, Push Ruins where they have Team Up, or, like, Cosmic Beam, so you could just play stuff behind it, so... It's not like... Yeah, it's not a... Should I put it F tier?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen this used, like,
Ever?
in any deck, really.
Okay, guys, slam dunk in the F tier. Can I have an F in the chat? Oh, ha, 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 this is not a stream. You can't type, because YouTube won't let me stream.
Right. Okay. So, Banana Bomb.
Banana! Oh, I just realized they have the next 5 bananas all clumped together.
Yeah. Oh, it's in alphabetical order, of course.
Oh! Oh, how did we not realize that?
I don't know.
Wait, oh yeah, my favorite number, my favorite letter, the number 2. Second best taco.
So, Banana Bomb it's pretty much Berry Blast, but I'd say it's about the same as Berry Blast, because 1 less damage for 1 less. I mean, this is a great answer to Cheese Cutter, to all those, like, good 2/2 zombies that just are really annoying on turn 1. This just easily deals with them. And then, like, obviously, the banana that makes them, I forget what it's called, the next card in line, that one is pretty good. If you can have that out for a while and just get a ton of banana bombs in your hand, it's like you can pretty much deal with anything they have, and it's just pretty solid card.
Banana bomb. Yeah, I would say it's worse than Berry Blast though, because 3 is like the magic number for health in the game for both plants and zombies. Like you can remove a lot of stuff with 3 attack. And you can also hit face with it. You can also hit face with it.
For most of the plants and zombies, most 3 health is either going to be a 3 cost or 2 cost.
Even some 4
1
cost
health is either going to be 1 cost. The 1 cost is going to be 1 health or 2 health.
It's mostly just 1 cost though.
Yeah.
So I would say it's definitely outclassed by Berry Blast, but I think it's still a really good card. I would say A tier.
I think that the main difference between it and Berry Blast is that it has to be to a zombie.
Yeah.
So you can't use this as a finisher like with Berry Blast. Like,
or you can't use it to act.
There's that one time where they're at like 2 or 3 health, and you just need a Berry Blast, and you top deck a Berry Blast, and it's incredible.
You just need. It's so annoying, like those times where like they have a max charge meter, but they're at like 1, and you just can't kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Say A or B tier for Banana Bomb. Probably A.
I would say. Would you say it's good in most decks or pretty good in some good decks?
I'd say it's good in most decks, just because, I mean, there's not a whole lot of damaging plant cards. Like, I mean, besides superpowers, it's pretty much, the main ones are Banana Bomb and Berry Blast.
Yeah. So, for Banana Launcher, now I used to think this was a good card, but then I watched Fry Muck's video about the Kabloom tier list, and that really made me rethink it. So, it's a 2 cost 3/3. No attack, so it can't defend itself. And you're not even guaranteed to get a Banana Bomb. Like, most of the time I'll survive at least 1 turn, so you will get at least 1 card out of it. So that's fine, but why not just run Banana Bomb, you know? And it's almost never going to survive, like, in order to get its value, I would say it has to survive at least 2 turns. And it's quite improbable, and plus, getting 2 Banana Bombs is breaking even. You know? It's like, and it's kind of just, it's sometimes annoying, because it just clogs up a lane that you can't play in anymore.
I mean, it's definitely not as useful as Banana Bomb itself.
Definitely
but, I mean,
not.
In certain situations, it's good, but in most, it's
very rare.
Okay.
It's the only time it's good is when you're going against like Super Brains, where they don't really have any counters to it.
Yeah, but like on my highest level of the game, they're 9 out of 10 gonna have a counter for it.
By the way, when do you have to go? Cause like, when do you have to go?
I don't know.
So once we get to 9 p.m., I'm gonna stop recording and then set up a new recording, cause it takes, like, the longer the video, the longer it takes for it to load into my photos, and so and also it still loads while I'm recording another video, so I can at least, you know, do it's basically like processing 2 videos at once. So I'm probably gonna split it into different parts.
Yeah.
Because this is gonna be like 8 hours or something. Because we're not even at 100. We're not even at like the 50 card mark yet. And there's 511.
Yeah.
It's really, this is gonna take. We're definitely not gonna finish this today, even if we might if we pulled an all-nighter, but yeah, it's okay. Banana Launcher, C tier, I guess.
C,
You're on banana peel.
Yes, banana peel. So this is not a very good card. Just, I mean, it says it's a rare, but it's not too great because the move a zombie is not really that useful. I mean, sometimes if like they're gonna like finish you with that, or if you need to finish them, it can be useful. But I mean,
in most cases, it's just better to remove the card. Like if it's an amphibious, if you try to move the amphibious to the ground lane, why not just remove it? You know?
Yeah. Well, it's a lot better to remove it or bounce it even.
Yeah.
But yeah. So and then the second thing it does, conjure banana. This is usually gonna be pretty good, but like
I wouldn't say so.
Banana Split isn't super great, but Bananosaurus Rex and Brainana, Banana Bomb, pretty good. But then like Half Banana and Banana Launcher, those aren't super good, like we said.
Oh my goodness, I just realized there's so many bees. So, when you said banana, I was like, wait, all of the bananas are lined up here. Where's banana? And then I looked down like 2 rows, and then there's banana. Like, there's so many cards just in the B letter. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's not even the end of it. It's, oh my goodness. It ends at Cabbage Pulp.
Yeah, the last one is 5 mushrooms. Anyway, so I would put banana peel, like, I'd say there's a 50% chance to get something good from banana peel. But, I mean, by then, it's not, like, by the time you're moving a zombie, and that's important to move that zombie, it's usually, like, unless you get, like, the Bananosaurus or Brainana, like, Banana Split isn't going to help.
In my opinion,
Banana Bomb won't really help.
Yeah, the only time, like, it's only really good late game. And by the time it's late game, I honestly prefer Whipvine, because you could also put stats on the field.
Yeah.
And Whipvine isn't even that popular for that game.
I mean, there's just a lot better things to do.
C or something? D?
Yeah, I'd say C.
Oh, C almost caught up to B.
Okay, you get Bananosaurus Rex. Congratulations.
Well, I mean, I don't really have much to say about it. Like, the fact that it grows double strike. Okay, I think it kind of is good that it doesn't start off with 4 attack. I mean, overall, it would be better if it had 4. It was a 4/4 or something like that. But the fact that it's a 3/3 to start off with, it's like it can't be rocket science on turn 4, which is huge. So, and rocket science is a lot more popular than like Zombots. Is a lot more popular than other removal cards. Like there's exploding fruitcake, I guess, and then the bounces and Zombot breath. Yeah, lightning, but that's exclusive to like 2 heroes, right? Like 2 different heroes, Z-Mech and Boogaloo. Those are the only ones with lightning stuff. Yeah, so, and combining with Umbrella Leaf, you could just grow this a lot. And, it doesn't really have much synergy with, like, outside of, like, growing it and Umbrella Leaf, but Umbrella Leaf synergizes with literally anything. I mean, we all know Bananosaurus Rex. It's good. Should we say S or A?
Yeah, I'd say.
Like, it would be S if it had 4 health, but.
I think it's A.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, there's just like.
There's still a good amount of stuff that can remove it. We keep accidentally talking over each other because we're not coordinated. We're professionals.
Very professional.
We should be added to the game for professional synergy. We'll be Professional will become the best synergy in the game. But oh, I know you're next. Okay.
Okay. Banana split. This one is interesting just because most people think, oh, that's pretty good. It's a 4-cost 4/4 that makes 2 2/2s. But I just like to say, if you're running banana split and you usually by turn 4 you have other minions on the field, so that will mean that, and usually when this dies, you'll put a minion next to it. So then you might get 1 half banana.
Yeah, you almost never gonna get 2.
You almost never go. And with half banana, like, the ability, I don't think anyone really plays a banana deck.
Yeah, I mean,
if you do, I don't know who
unless
you are.
Unless you're weird like Fire Him Up, who does a bunch of weird decks.
Yeah.
Because it's literally his job.
Bananas, it's a 2/2 that when destroyed, all bananas in your hand get +1/+1. But in pretty much every deck, it's just gonna be 2/2.
It's kind of bad with Banana Launcher, because Banana Launcher will start pinging the block meter.
Yeah. I mean, if it was like a 3-cost, I think this would be a bit better, but
yeah, I think it'd be quite. I think it'd be a good, like, even aggro card, because a 4/4.
Yeah, but
yeah,
as a 4-cost 4/4 that sometimes makes 1, rarely 2 half bananas, it's just not very good.
There's so many better power plays that you can do on turn 4, like Bananasaurus Rex. Yeah. It's like they were right next to each other. It's like they asked us to.
I'd say D tier, because it's not completely useless in F tier, but
it also clogs. It also if they don't, like, say you for some reason like somehow got 2 banana splits, and they both don't die. Well, now you have 2 lanes clogged up and you can't play them. And by turn 5, you don't want to attack to be pinging the block meter, really.
Yeah.
So D.
Yeah. There's just so many.
I mean, I guess they could jump block, but Banana Split is all cards in your hand, not on the field, right?
What?
Oh, yeah, it's all. Yeah, if it was all bananas on the field, get +1 when it dies, it would be better. Cause like.
Still not great though.
Yeah, cause like if one dies, you could at least buff out the other banana split on the field.
Yeah.
Like split banana. I keep mixing them up, dude. Like they literally are just half banana. Whatever. I'm not gonna question it.
Barrel of Deadbeard.
Wait. No, it's barrels. Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Wait, is my turn?
Yeah.
Oh, I have bad memory. Okay. Barrels. This used to be amazing. Now it's just good. Just being able to add deadly to any card. Just being able to allow something to instantly kill anything. A can, obviously kill anything in front of it. It's really good with Dr. Spacetime because it makes the barrel conjoys cost less. And it makes the plant not want to play stuff in front of it, unless it's like armored, unless it's armored and you put the deadly on the 1 attack, it's gonna kill stuff that's in front of it, There's not really much. I mean, you could kill the zombie with tricks, but you're using a trick on the zombie too that you can't use on later zombies. That could have been much easier. That could have been much better answered by a plant, And you also a conjoy card, which it's better to draw a card than conjoy because you want synergy in your deck, but you're still getting a card back, So this used to be OP. This used to synergize with so many decks, like Allosaurus, Space-Time especially, just a bunch of other cards. It used to be OP, now it's just good. It's a good budget card. You don't see it in too many decks these days, but it's a good card. What do you think?
Yeah, it's pretty good, especially just for like in Batman Rising decks. It's pretty good just because in Batman Rising decks you're mainly playing a bunch of small minions to make them better, and just just give it deadly and you conjure a barrel. Pretty good. And also barrels, I feel like barrels can be the best or like really bad.
Hold on, let me pull up the barrel list.
Good barrels. Barrel Deadbeard, the Zombot Battle Cruiser 9000, the Rocket Science. But then there's one like Pirate's Booty, the Loose Cannon, Garbage Zombie, all those.
I don't know. I honestly like Garbage Zombie, honestly.
I mean, Garbage Zombie.
It's okay.
The worst, but
it just doesn't. It just doesn't synergize with really anything.
Yeah.
I like. Barrel Roller Zombie is also pretty decent.
Yeah. I'd say B.
Oh, don't forget Toxic Wasted. There's quite a few good barrels actually. Final Mission's okay. You're a lot more likely to get a good barrel than a bad one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say barrels in general aren't crazy good, but they're not bad. B tier? Yeah. Barrel of Deadbeards. By the way, I've been walking around this whole time because I'm restless. So my feet are killing me. So I kind of have to sit down now. Barrel of Deadbeards. Okay. Now... Yeah?
Didn't he just do barrels?
Yeah, this is Barrel of Deadbeards.
You notice anything?
What?
Are we taking turns here?
Oh! Why is my memory so bad?
I'm like, didn't you just do barrels? You're just like, yeah.
I want to highlight these moments, like these funny moments, because this is really fun. But I have to edit, because with Adobe Spark, you guys, you have to, the max clip you could do is 30 seconds.
30, yeah.
So it's going to take forever to edit this, to just, like, set up the actual video for 2 hours. But, like, also it's probably going to take a long time to upload. But not only that, like, I have to go through it the 2 hours and look for funny stuff. So that I can edit. I don't want to do that. It already takes me, like 4 hours for the videos I already do. Like 4 hours of just editing.
So, this is obviously very good in Valk, Trickster, just any Valk deck, really.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's
2 zombies in one.
Counts as 2 zombies, and it deals 1 damage to all plants and zombies. So that means it can kill your opponent's plants, and it can kill your zombies, or at least weaken them, which means that Valk will get powered up. And it's just, I mean, it's also a pirate, so pirate synergy.
Yeah, but it's not really reliable with it.
Huh?
It's not really reliable for pirate synergy.
Yeah. Still, 2 cost cards. If it had like 1 attack, I think it'd be just really, really good.
Well, it would ping you a block beater, so then you can't really play it like proactively, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it could
It's
work.
interesting to have 2 of them, because like 1 dies, which sets off the other, and that'll mean it does 2 damage to everything.
It works well with stuff like Garg throwing imp. Wait, no, not Garg throwing imp. That sucks. Garg throwing Garg, or imp throwing Garg. Imp throwing Garg isn't that good, but there is a really good imp throwing Garg deck. Check it out on Fire Mup's channel. I don't remember the exact. Was it when Zombots throw? When Garg throwing Gargs throw Zombots? Was it that one?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah. But overall, it's a good card. You could activate it with Final Mission. It's really good with Final final mission, yes, final mission, and you could activate it with Firecracker. Really wipes out like stuff like Cycle Cap, unless they pine clone it before you could do that. Also, another thing is to pick the Barrel of Deadbeards plus Barrel of Barrels is the physical embodiment of the meme where it's like, I play both sides so I always end up on top. It's the physical embodiment of that. So, S tier for the meme. Nah, but, should we say B, pretty good in some decks, or... Because I want to say it's good in most decks.
Yeah, B.
Pretty good in some good decks. I mean, it is a vital part of Valk Trickster Hybrid. Or just Valk decks in general, but, like... And I forgot what I was gonna say after that. Whatever, move on. Barrel Roller, okay, 3/3, 4 cost, not great stats. We already went over, like, 3 costs zombies and what they're countered by. I mean, 3 health zombies. Okay. What I'm saying is, we already went over what counters these types of stat zombies, 3/3s, So, I'm not gonna go over that again. Although it is a bit unique, because you can't really counter it with plants, because it's guaranteed to die. I mean, I guess you could use Apple Saucer, because you don't want to counter it with an expensive plant. Like, normally you could like use Bananasaurus Rex in front of it, so it could kill it and then do a bonus attack afterwards and hit the face, but you can't really do that with this. It's a good removal card, and it works really well with Toxic Waste Imp with the stuff it spawns. Overall, though, it's not that good, because once it dies, it makes the imps, and it could ping the block meter. I guess they could be used in, like, Bad Moon Rising, because, imps, yay.
I think that'd just be a lot better if it didn't have Deadly. It was just a normal 3/3,
and
it gave
imps
the
have
Swabbies Deadly.
Yeah. But that would be that wouldn't be like how in the game, like in PVZ 2, it basically kills everything because it just crushes the plant. So I think that's why they made it like this. They wanted to like be like how it was in the game, PVZ 2.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really see this really in any deck. It's not. You don't see this in competitive, but really it's not that bad of a card in my opinion. Like, you could use the imps to jump block. I feel like people should try to use this card more. Like, it could work really well with evolution decks.
Yeah.
You want to just put it in C?
C tier, C or B?
I guess just because nobody's like. It has a lot of potentials. It has a lot of potential, but just because nobody has actually like tried using it yet, I'm gonna put it in C. Like later on, if people actually try using this, we could probably move it up to B. Baseball zombie. Oh wait, no, it's your turn.
Yeah. So I would just like to say that this is an easy F tier. Put it directly in your turn.
Okay. Wait, why does the cap look so weird? Like the front, like the top, like
a folded piece of paper.
Yeah, it does, and it like, and why is it so big? Like, and also the guy looks really young. Wait, well, hold on. What? Oh, there you go. Accidentally moved the baseball zombie down the list. I think this is supposed to be Beam Me Up.
Yeah, Beam Me Up.
Yeah, I mean, we're not doing token cards anyway, so. So this is a really good control card. Just the fact that you can play this reactively to the players. I think it removes Can you think of any plants this doesn't remove from 2 in 1? Walnut, I guess, but, you know, it's walnut.
Let's see, turn 1. Not many plants that cost 1.
1 cost. Garlic, it doesn't kill garlic, but, you know. Like, most of the high health 1 costs don't have high attacks, so you don't really need to worry about removing them. And, it can remove most 2 attacks. I mean, 2 costs. And it even, like, survives and keeps staying on the field. It also works really well in Valk-Trickster Hybrid, where it's both a trick and a zombie. So, it synergizes both with Valk and Trickster. You don't really have any problem putting it in any deck. And also, it also has Science Synergy. It doesn't counter the water lane, which I think is its biggest flaw. But, like, most water lane, like, there isn't very many, like, very competitive amphibious cards. Like, just in general, amphibious cards aren't that good. Like, let's see. Hold on, let me type in amphibious.
I'm a Floridon. I think it's one of the only legendary amphibious. Guardian or whatever.
And Crocodile is good, but it's not really used that much. Let's see. Limaploidon is good. Animal Navy Bean is good. There's banana and dragon fruit, but you know, you're not gonna kill a 6 and 8 or 8 cost with a 2 trick, you know. There's cat there, which does decent damage, I guess. I mean, there's not really... The only meta amphibious cards are Admiral Navy Bean, Limaploidon, Banana, Dragon Fruit, kinda Great Zucchini, Rhodobaga, which you usually don't play in the water lane, and kind of Crocodile, and... Well, you know, Mayflower isn't that good in the highest level of the game.
Yeah.
And then, Grizzly Pear, you don't usually play Grizzly Pear in front of stuff, not like, you use Grizzly Pear, reactively, not proactively.
Yeah.
So, overall, you want to put it A or S?
I'd say 8. No, well, since S can go in any deck, I think it'd go in S.
Yeah, it really can go in any deck. Like,
it's not really a problem.
Like with any,
never gonna be bad.
With almost any card, there's always gonna be at least one deck where you don't have enough room for it, and that's okay. Like, you're not always gonna... Some decks need every single card to count, you know? And that's okay. But some decks you just need extra. And this is perfect for those types of decks. And even some decks where it doesn't need extra, like Valk-Trickster Hybrid, this is perfect for it, you know?
Yeah.
You're next, I think.
You know what this one's called? Bean... I know it's a bean.
Bean counter.
Yeah, bean counter. So this one is kind of, sort of, maybe garbage.
Yeah, I don't like it.
So let me just grab that for you. 4 cost 2/2.
Yes.
4 cost 2/2. Like, you think of this, turn 4, like, that's, like, usually that's like a 3 or 4, like, damage thing. No, this is a 2/2. On turn 4, you play this, and they play a 3 cost minion, and they counter with Bungee Plumber.
Yes.
Their 1 cost card just took your 4 cost card. And what you get from it? 2 weenie beans.
Yes, it gives you 2 useless cards that can actually mill you.
Yeah.
Like, and you can't even really use it with Admiral Navy Bean, because if you need to play beans after you play bean counter. But with Admiral Navy Bean, you need to play Admiral Navy Bean before you play other beans. So it doesn't really work with they don't really work with each other. So, and also, like, you need to place 2 beans to break even. Like, if you use those 2 weenie beanies, well, you're playing 2 1/1s that could ping your block meter just so that your 4 cost could break even. And it isn't even that good. It's also weak to hard removal because it doesn't really have a ability outside of stats. I guess it can work with Dynavoid, but might as well just use Flourish. Like, I really hate this card, but there have been a couple situations where it's good. You want to put in a D?
For the most part, it's just a bad card.
You want to put in D or C? D?
Yeah. That's because the only way this is somewhat useful is in bean decks, and even then, it's not that useful.
Bean decks are like decks where it's just beans aren't that competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it was a 3/3, I guess it could be decent.
Honestly, it'd probably have to be a 3/4 to be.
Yeah, generally you don't play this on turn 4. You generally play it on like turn 7, and along with 3 other beans or something. But really, like, turn 7, this is not gonna win you the game. Turn 7 is about the time where you're trying to finish off your opponent.
Yeah, like turn 7, there's not like.
Turn 7,
play like Cob Cannon or any of the.
Gatling P.
6 and 7 cost plan.
Gatling P, Banana, that stuff. Like, like, Repeat Moss. Like, why would you use your turn 7 on this, you know?
Yeah.
Almost, no, not F tier. Bellflower, I mean, works with Braggy Rose, I guess.
I'd just say F tier.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, and plus it's kind of annoying because sometimes you get this from Cosmic Flower.
Yeah. What is this?
Very angry.
Yeah. They changed the icon.
This is gonna be the last card before I start the next video.
Yeah. Wait, so this is the last one we're doing for this part?
Yeah, for this part. We could keep going.
Okay. So, Very Angry is not a very good card usually to be running. In Psycho Cat, it's somewhat useful, in Storm decks, somewhat useful, but it's not. I think 3 costs to give your minions +2 attack. Like, and then compare this to Camo Crossing or whatever on the zombie side, which is 1 cost and gives all your zombies +2 health. That is so much better than Very Angry, which costs 3 to give them +2 attack.
I feel like this could be decent if they gave 3 attack to each.
Yeah, but
yeah, like
3 cost for 2 attack, it's just, and it's never really gonna be that much worth it.
Say on turn 3, you're gonna have like maybe 2 plants. That's gonna be like add 4 attack. Why not just add more tempo or something?
Yeah.
Or like, honestly though, I think it's better than Crow Magnolia, because Crow Magnolia, you don't have to sacrifice a card, and it affects all lanes instead of just there and nearby.
Yeah. The only problem is that it doesn't put stats on the field like Crow Magnolia.
Well, it only puts stats on the field with the evolution itself.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And only, like, I wouldn't say it's not really worth it unless you're, like, evolving, like, a 1/1.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, should we say D?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
because,
I guess
like, it's okay in some decks, but it's not really good.
it needs to be. I think it needs to be +3 or a 2 cost.
Yeah.
Give all plants +20 attack. Okay. Yeah. So this will be the end of part 1. We only got through part of B when we go into the alphabetical order. So you know this is gonna be a lot of tier lists. Yeah. Goodbye. I don't really know what to say. I don't really do outros. Okay. See ya. Oh, no, wrong one. There we go.